Steven Andrus here for thelines.com. If your college basketball bracket is busted, perhaps you'll be interested in a second shot at a golf bracket. On the PGA Tour this week, it is the Dell Technologies Match Play Championship, part of the World Golf Championships. The top 64 available players in a bracket competing for a huge purse. In this video, we're going to break down the outright odds as they came out on Monday after the groups were announced and the bracket was set by the PGA Tour. We're also going to look at John Hasselbauer, our lead writer's model, and which players are necessarily peaking in the model but may not be peaking on the odds boards, perhaps creating some value. So if you go to thelines.com, you can find the article right here on the homepage, the Dell Technologies Match Play Bracket. If for whatever reason it's not there when you go, you can always go to the odds section under golf, under John Hasselbauer. You'll find his match play preview. And then if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll find the link to the bracket. So here we are, the Dell Match Play Bracket for 2022. And the first thing we need to understand here is the format of this tournament. Each group, a group of 4, makes up the first round. Those assignments are random, but they are broken up into tiers. So each group contains a player from tier 1, ranked between 1 and 16 in the official World Golf Rankings. Tier 2, the next 16. Tier 3, the following 16. And then tier 4, the bottom 16 players that make up this field. That's how they randomly assign the group of 4. World Cup style, they'll each play each other round robin. Whoever has the most points advances to the round of 16. So with that in mind, where is the value? First thing we got to remember here when we're betting the outright market for this tournament, unlike stroke play where it doesn't really matter who you bet, the last thing you want to do is load up on a bunch of outrights that are in the same quadrant or the same side, left side or right side of the bracket. That's going to limit your upside, right? Eventually there's a chance that they might play each other if you run pure, and then you're only advancing one potentially forward at that point. So when I'm betting outrights for the match play bracket, I'm basically trying to find one player, no more than 2, in each quadrant that I want to try and take a shot on. So if you go to this article here at thelines.com, you'll find each quadrant for the bracket. And the way you kind of look at this, group 1, the winner of group 1 will play the winner of group 16 in the round of 16. And then under here, group 8 and group 9, the winner of those 2 groups will play in the round of 16. So then after that, the winner of the group 8 and group 9 winner will play the winner of the group 1 and group 16 winner to be the quote unquote final 4 participant to emerge from this quadrant. So keep that in mind. So here's what I find helpful about this. Let's look at group 1 here. The number 1 player in the rankings in the world, Jon Rahm, has outright odds of plus 1,400. And we also have John Hasselbauer's model rank next to him, number 3 world rank. And as you can tell, he's clearly the favorite in the model as well over these other 3 names in his group to emerge. But if we look further down the line here, there's going to be a group here or there where the outright odds don't necessarily match up with the model rank. And right away here, Brooks Koepka in group 16, 32-1 to win this tournament, number 41 in the model rank. There's a player in this group with longer odds, Shane Lowry at 40-1 with a model rank of 13th. Now, some of you might say Brooks Koepka decides to turn it on here or there, so he doesn't really work when it comes to modeling for the most part. And I would agree with that, but that's not the only example in this bracket. If we scroll down here a little bit further into one of these other quadrants, we're going to see a better example of this. And let's start with, where's Bubba Watson at? Here we go. Quadrant 3, the top right portion of the bracket. In group 15, we have Abraham Answer, Bubba Watson, Webb Simpson, and Brian Harman. Now, by nature of the official World Golf Rankings, Abraham Answer is in the top 20. and he's playing a bunch of guys that aren't in the top 30 of the official world golf rankings. But if you look at John's model, which is taking into account some recent form and not just the official world golf rankings that date back a long time ago, we'll see that Bubba Watson is right there neck and neck in the model with Abraham Answer at a much better price, 80-1 versus the 55-1 for Abraham Answer. So even if you don't think the winner of this group is going to advance past the winner of Group 2, which features Colin Morikawa, one of, in my opinion, the best player in the world right now. I'd take him over Jon Rahm. A couple other good names here and winners, and Jason Kokrak and Sergio Garcia's had match play success as well. But even if you don't think they're going to advance far, you might be able to find a derivative market where you're getting a better price on Bubba Watson just to win his group than Abraham Answer, who's probably the favorite to win this group. So let's look at a couple names that I've bet on in the outright market, and we'll start here back up above in quadrant 1. The name that stood out to me is Dustin Johnson for a couple of reasons. First of all, he's a great match play player. We saw that at the Ryder Cup. He didn't play well basically for most of last season, shows up at the Ryder Cup and just dominates. So he likes match play. And he wound up with a draw here where in his group, there isn't a single player inside the top 30 that he has to deal with to advance to the round of 16. And then he plays the winner of Group 9, which features, again, 3 players who don't rank in the top 30 in John's model, and Bryson DeChambeau, who is making his return from injury and likely isn't in peak form after dealing with those injuries. He has not played in a PGA Tour event since the end of January at the Farmers Insurance Open. So given that Dustin Johnson has been looking better, playing well, broke the course record in his final round of the Players' Championship with a 63 at Sawgrass. So he's in decent shape at the moment. I like this draw for him. If he is able to get past the round of 16 into the round of 8, he's looking at maybe playing Jon Rahm would be the worst case scenario, but I would argue that's not necessarily all that bad in match play when Jon Rahm hasn't really been putting very well this season. And then you have the other group there with Brooks Koepka and Van Rooyen and Shane Lowry. So chances are in the round of 8, Dustin Johnson would be favored against anybody here with the exception of Jon Rahm. So I love Dustin Johnson's draw to get out of the top left portion of this bracket and get into the semifinals or the quote-unquote Final Four. Moving on to the bottom left, really some powerhouses here. I don't really want to take a shot at a long shot in this portion of the bracket, to be honest with you, with names like Patrick Cantlay and Scotty Scheffler, who are just great putters and great match play players. And you also have Billy Horschel, who won this event a year ago. But if there is one long shot I'm going to look at, I'm certainly not going to try and pick on Scotty Scheffler or Patrick Cantlay. I'm going to look down here to Billy Horschel's group and go with Tom Hoge, considering, number 21 in the model, so much better than his official world golf ranking. He won at Pebble Beach this year. He was in contention at the Players until the final round. And at 100-1 with a couple of guys in Minwoo Lee and Thomas Peters, who the model actually absolutely hates, and potentially a chance to get by Billy Horschel. It's a challenge, but at 100-1 might be worth a roll of the dice. But again, even if he does, potentially a matchup with Scotty Scheffler or another match play specialist and Ian Poulter waiting in the round of 16. So it's not the best draw beyond this group, but I do like the way Tom Hoge's been playing. Down here to the top right portion of the bracket for the Dell Match Play Championship, one name that stands out to me is Xander Schofley. He is in group number 7 here. 28-1 odds as we record this are the best available across legal U.S. sportsbooks. Got a great draw for his group. Tony Finau is ranked highly by name only at this point, number 23 in the official world golf rankings. But if you've been following this season, his game is a disaster at the moment. He can't find it outside the top 45 in John's model this week, and should be able to handle Takumi Kanaya and Lucas Herbert. If he gets past that, He's looking at Louis Oosthuizen potentially out of Group 10 for a round of 16 matchup, but no guarantee he gets out. That is a really tough group there of 3 guys that are in the top 20 in John's model, so who knows who's going to come out of Group 10. But really, it's a number play for me. Xander Schofley at 28-1. Better odds than a full field tournament that we've been getting on Xander for most of the season. I mean, for the most part, he's been short of 20-1 in all of these normal tournaments. And now in this match play with a good draw, we're getting 28-1. I love that number. And if he is able to escape and get past the round of 16, a potential round of 8 matchup looms with Colin Morikawa, that to me would be the worst case scenario, because look at the rest of these names between Group 2 and Group 15. None of them really strike fear into you if you have a Xander Schofley ticket, with the exception of maybe Colin Morikawa. And we all know that Colin Morikawa's putter can be inconsistent and finicky, which in a match play is the last thing that you want. So if there is a long shot I'm looking at, it is Bubba Watson here. We touched on that earlier. Just a very winnable group here for Bubba Watson. And if you go back to John Hasselbauer's tournament preview, he notes that lefties have done well here at Austin Country Club in Texas as well. Finally, the bottom right-hand portion of the bracket, one name that I am keeping an eye on is Kevin Kisner, a great short course player, and he has done very well here in these match plays, but not a great draw. He has Justin Thomas at number 1 in his group, so he's going to have to try and get past him. If he's able to, though, the bracket really opens up for the past winner of this event. And I know that's asking a lot to get past Justin Thomas, but at 70-1 to try and get out of this group for Kevin Kisner, it might be worth a roll of the dice. The round of 16 matchup, if he gets past, would look at a very winnable matchup against players that he is ranked ahead of in the model. Kisner number 24 this week, and every single player in Group 11 is outside the top 25, including Jordan Spieth. Adam Scott is right there on that line at number 25, so you got to love that. So as long as he can get past Justin Thomas, which is a tall task, but it's 70-1, the number I think is right to take a shot. A short course specialist, a great putter, and since 2016, a record of 16-6-1 at Austin Country Club, and a top 10 Bermuda putter in this field as well. Lastly, in this post, you can check out the outright odds across sportsbooks for the Dell Match Play Championships. A good clean look here at DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel, etc. You can filter by what state you are in, and you could just see which book has the best odds on the player that you like. So I love that. Always try and find the best odds when you are betting on golf to maximize your chance at long-term profits. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. I hope you enjoy the Dell Match Play Championships. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let us know in the comments who you are betting on in this tournament, in this bracket, and best of luck this week with your golf betting.